The Yubel archetype is made up of 3 monster cards: Yubel, Yubel the Terror Incarnate, and Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare. There is also a spin-off card where Yubel has been smushed together with elemental hero Neos to make the effect monster Neos Wiseman. Why didn't they make this card a fusion monster like in the anime? No idea. But they did try again 10 years later, and this time they got it right with elemental hero Neos Krieger. But we'll get to him a little bit later. All of the Yubel monsters share the same properties of being a dark attributed fiend monster with 0 attack, 0 defense, and heterochromatic eyes. The biggest difference between them all is the fact that their effects and levels become more powerful as they progress through their evolution line. The cards' designs are all based on the Yugioh GX character of the same name, Yubel, who was once a human that had been transformed into a guardian spirit to watch over the one who would wield the gentle darkness. Alas, eventually to be corrupted and serve as one of the primary antagonists of the Yugioh GX series. Yubel made its real-world debut in the 2008 booster pack Phantom Darkness, in which its ultimate form served as the cover card. With these 3 cards, this is sadly where the core Yubel archetype ends, although 2 support cards were released later, with Neos Wiseman in the 2009 set, Crossroads of Chaos, and elemental hero Neos Krieger in the OCG 2019 set, Legendary Gold Box. The problem with these 2 is that their effects don't actually support Yubel or that playstyle, but rather the elemental hero archetype instead. So it's just too hard to say they're a part of the core archetype. Now, despite no other support than that, that's not to say that these cards haven't had reprints, as Yubel has come out again in the 2011 Celebration set, Legendary Collection 2, the Dual Academy Years Mega Pack, and the 2012 Raw Yellow Mega Packs. It's probably worth mentioning as well that direct support isn't necessarily needed for this archetype, as the Yubels can self-sustain and slip into a few different decks that have a high focus on self-destruction, the 2 most synchronized archetypes being the Fire Kings or Nephis. The reason self-destruction is required is because a Yubel deck's playstyle focuses all around burn damage and destruction, with the Yubel forms acting almost like a boss fight, as with each of the forms defeated, it is revealed that it isn't even their final form yet. When used in a duel, base Yubel unfortunately is quite a bit of a hindrance. Despite being easy to get out due to its 0 attack and 0 defense, the high maintenance cost of sacrificing a monster every end phase is rather annoying, as though it would destroy itself if this maintenance isn't met, it doesn't count towards its self-destruction to evolve itself, so literally you have to destroy it in any other manner whatsoever to get Incarnate out. However, when Yubel the Terror Incarnate does come out, that's where the fun begins, as it is able to start nuking the field during every end phase, meaning you can easily deplete your opponent's resources every turn. Finally, when Incarnate has been destroyed, the Ultimate Nightmare is summoned immediately to the field. This form is much more focused than the other 2, where Yubel's first form was only able to deal damage if it was attacked foolishly, and Terror Incarnate would wildly destroy every monster on the field, including their own. With the Ultimate Nightmare, Yubel is able to attack into opponent's monsters and deal the damage back to the opponent instead. As well, it is able to destroy them too. The idea being to keep crashing into monsters, whittling down your opponent's life points as much as possible until finally they are defeated. And should the final form be defeated before winning, getting out the first form Yubel starts the whole thing all over again, since the upgraded forms can be summoned from the graveyard too, allowing them to rise again. So how about we take a look at each one of the Yubels, starting with Yubel. Its effect is this card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Before damage calculation, when this face-up attack position card is attacked by opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's attack. During your end phase, tribute one other monster or destroy this card. When this card is destroyed, except by its own effect, its owner can special summon one Yubel Terror Incarnate from their hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, Yubel's artwork has been censored, but not in a way you might expect, as the OCG and TCG have identical designs. However, it is with the anime to OCG designs that has received a change. For you see, the monster was given a grey skin suit to cover more of her body. And of course, the dubbed version of the anime was censored too, by adding more coverings to the design too. That's not the only censorship to the anime though. The nature of Yubel's gender is brought up often when discussing the character, and though at the end of the day, doesn't really matter since it's not integral to the story, it is worth taking a second look at how the dub and sub differ in Yubel's portrayal. For instance, in the original Japanese, Yubel in human form speaks with an androgynous tone, but is referenced with the male Japanese pronoun of boku. After transforming, Yubel's body is split with male and female features. Yubel also has two differing voices in this form that alternate between a male and a female voice.
10代。何？君の心がやっと僕に届いた。その憎しみは愛の裏返しなんだね。
In this form, Japanese Yubel would continue to use male pronouns when describing themselves, with other characters throughout the series addressing Yubel as both a male and a female. The takeaway from this is it is made very unclear intentionally, as this means Yubel should be considered 50% male and 50% female, to possibly reference something from Hinduism called Ardhanarishvara, which was where two Hindu deities combined together to become a deity that was half male and half female, equally split down the middle. In conjunction, the international dub, however, doesn't seem to know what it wants to do with Yubel, since instead, the dub has Yubel in the past speak with a male-sounding voice.
Please, my king, let that person be me.
Then, after transforming, it becomes distinctly female.
And when our names are called, we will fight the waves of chaos and save the world.
From this point, throughout the entirety of the series, Yubel is referred to as a she. As well, her design is altered, so her male side's pectoral is replaced with a female breast. So yeah, those were the alterations between Japanese Yubel and dub Yubel. How about we next take a look at Yubel's upgraded forms? Yubel Terra Incarnate. Its effect is it cannot be normal summoned or set, it must be special summoned by Yubel, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Before damage calculation, when this face-up attack position card is attacked by an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. During your end phase, destroy all other monsters on the field. When this face-up card leaves the field, you can special summon one Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Yubel the Terra Incarnate's name in the Japanese is actually derived from German. I'm about to butcher this, I do apologize. Yubel das Abscheuliche Ritter. In English, it means Yubel the Detestable Knight. However, in Yubel's final form, its name would become Yubel das Extreme Traurig Drachen, which translates to Yubel the Extremely Sorrowful Dragon, or as we know it in the English, Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by Yubel Terra Incarnate and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this face-up attack position card battles when an opponent's monster, inflict damage equal to that monster's attack to your opponent. Also, destroy that monster. All three of these monsters' abilities to inflict damage to the opponent was originally known in the Japanese as Nightmare Pain. In fact, speaking of the anime, in the duel between Jaden and the Darkness, when the Darkness stole Yubel from Jaden, Jaden used super polymerization to fuse all three of his spirit monsters together. Elemental hero Neos, Yubel, and he discarded his wing Karibo in order to use the effect. This combination created Neos Wiseman, whose effect is he cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by sending one face-up elemental hero Neos and one face-up Yubel you control to the graveyard and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster it battled, and you gain life points equal to that monster's defense. You can see in the background of this card's artwork references to both Yubel and Neos that make up this monster's art. However, this monster would be criticized heavily by Yu-Gi-Oh players, as to get this monster out, it would require you to have Yubel on the field, Neos on the field, and this card in your hand, making it a very awkward monster to get out. The solution to this would have been just to make it a fusion monster. Problem solved. And 10 years later, they would solve this with the monster Elemental Hero Neos Krieger. Requires Elemental Hero Neos and Yubel. Must be fusion summoned. Before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the opponent's monster's attack. If this face-up card you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, You can special summon 1 Neos Wiseman from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use this effect of elemental hero Neos Krieger once per turn. And with that is the Yubel archetype done. Let me know what you think of the Yubel archetype in the comment section below. But guys, thank you all for watching. It's time to give a huge shout out to the people that help make these videos possible. Thank you firstly to my exceptional platinum backers, NemoChan77, as well to my YouTube and gold backers on Patreon, Silver Defender, Michael Waklorski, Stefan Pole, Goosey Q, Yugioh Everything, Rias Gremory, Yokaido Kenya, You Know You Do, and to all of my silver backers too. Guys, thank you all for supporting the channel. The Hoover's just been switched on, hopefully you can't hear that in the background. But other than that, thank you for watching. Catch you later.